So I'm back, and today we've got the whiteboard out, and we're going to be using that to compare the G1 Soundwave and cassettes. Basically, this is going to be three separate whiteboard things. We've got Soundwave versus FOC Soundwave, and we got G1 Ravage versus MP Ravage, G1 Laserbeak versus MP Laserbeak. And we'll just be going off everyone at the same time, really. First off, we're going to go with the alt mode. Okay, so we got, we'll start with the Soundwave, G1 Soundwave. Obviously, he's cassette player, or micro cassette player. And yeah, he looks pretty good. I mean, yeah, the back's a little meh, but I mean, he does a pretty good job of representing a micro cassette player. Main difference is that this is the retool that Sound Blaster had with the extended chest piece. And he's a Fall Cybertron SUV thing. And, you know, not to be biased or anything like that, but I mean, this is my opinion, and I do not like the Fall Cybertron or Cybertronian style vehicles for the most part. I think this really, really looks lame in comparison to this. So, I'm going to go ahead and give a point to G1 Soundwave. Moving on down the list, we'll go with the Ravages. So they're both the micro cassettes. You can kind of see Ravage's head right there and his legs right there. This one kind of holds it together a little bit better on the tape side. If you flip it over, it's got no detail, and you get the same kind of flaws, but at the same time, it's still, you know, it's the same on that side. Whereas this one's a hollow piece of crap. I mean, it's not a piece of crap, but you know, you can see where the pieces are all like indented in. It's not the most convincing tape on that side. So where this one beats it on the front side, this one I would say wins it for alt mode, because just in general he looks better. I really wish they would have painted this side. But yeah, in general, this one does look better than this one. Like, this one's stronger on the front, but really weak on the back. This guy is decent on the front and decent on the back. So overall, that's what I would say. So I'm going to give it to the G1 Ravage for alt mode. And then thing to mention, but I'm not, because they all pretty much all of them, both Fall Cybertron and G1 Soundwave and the G1 cassettes, all suffer from parts that don't really store very well. Fall Cybertron, because he's got the cannon just sitting on the back, you know, that's kind of lame. So that is something to mention as well. We'll get more into that later. Now we go into Laserbeak. So here's Laserbeak. See, I would say that. No, that's there we go. All right. So yeah, both of them are really good on this side. Both of them have the. I mean, you can see, even see like where the spools and stuff would be. The little spinners for the spool, little numbers to kind of tell you where the spool's at. Backside, both of them aren't quite looking like a tape, but they both look pretty cool. This one's got all this like Cybertronian type detail going around here, whereas this has got like molded detail going around. You know, and these pieces here, they all get covered up in transformation, so this is strictly molded detail for the tape. It has nothing to do with the bird mode. So honestly, I'm gonna have to give it to both of them for alt mode. I think both of their tape modes are really solid. So there's that. Transformation. They're all really simple. We'll just flip these guys over real quick. Of course, he's giving me trouble, and it's a G1 figure that shouldn't be giving me trouble. There we go. There we go. They're all fairly simple. Simple but satisfying. We've already seen this guy transformed many times. Let's see, I think I reviewed this guy once by himself, and then did a re-review on him. And I know I did the blaster mold, and then the comparison between him and the music label. So we don't really need to focus too much on it. Except now his hands are getting stuck. Go. And then Ravage, also very, very, very simple transformations for pretty much everybody on this table. False Cybertron, I'd say, is the most complicated one, and he is not complicated at all. He's got these big pieces that clip on to the side, or peg onto the side. So as far as the point goes for the transformations, you know, they're all quite satisfying. I'm not gonna fault any of them or anything like that. I honestly enjoy transforming pretty much everybody on here. Ravage has got the most intricate transformation with the nose. And G1 Soundwave's got the best integration because his weapons are actually stored inside of him, which is really, really nice. So, honestly, I'm going to give a point to everybody but the Fall of Cybertron one. And the only reason why he doesn't get a point is because of the fact that, you know, masterpieces are great because of their size. You know, they're really small, they're little, and intricate, and very satisfying transformations. G1s are very great for the time that they had came out in. But the Fall of Cybertron one, honestly, is... I mean, it turns into a Cybertronian mode, which I always find as an excuse to not really make a convincing alt mode. Yeah, I can't say that he's got a great transformation because he doesn't transform into anything real. So yeah, like I said, I think for their time, the G1s are far superior when it comes to the transformation, just because of how intricate that they can be. You know, we're talking 30 plus year, or yeah, almost 31-year-old figure here. Mold is actually older than the release date. So anyway, so transformation, I'm going to give it to G1, MP, G1, and MP. I think they're all really, really solid. Robot modes. We'll start with G1 Soundwave. I think he does pull off the look of Soundwave very well. The hollow chest is a little upsetting, but you know, you put its tape in there and it looks fine. And the head, I don't like the head. I really do not like the head. But other than that, I think he does pull off the G1 Soundwave look very well. Now, as opposed to Fall Cybertron Soundwave, he looks really good. You know, yeah, he's got the Cybertronian style going on, but he does look pretty good for a robot. And because his head sculpt is much more crisp and more G1 Soundwave, I do think that this robot would actually be superior. So as far as the robot mode, Fall Cybertron, I think, is a superior figure. Now we'll go into Ravage. Now, I know that a lot of people complained that this Ravage just isn't as good as it should have been. And, you know, I have to disagree. I think this Ravage is actually really, really good for being so small. And yeah, you know, people complain that the tail is really small on him. Well, look at the G1's tail. It's proportionally about the same size. So, and the hip cannons are actually sculpted into the detail on the figure. So there's no accessories that you have to plug on like he does. He's got more mass to him, and he's, you know, more hunched over. He's got more posability. That's one thing I forgot to put on my rating, is posability. But, you know, new figures are going to beat the old figures, hands down, on posability. So I'll just go ahead and, for posability, I'm going to give a point to Fall of Cybertron, MP, and MP. They just beat G1 hands down. Anyway, back to robot style. And then, yeah, just he's got more mass to him, whereas he's just incredibly flat. So I have to give robot mode to the MP Ravage. And then laserbeak. Again, they both look really great. But this guy just trumps it with G1 accuracy. He just screams G1 Transformer. Like, he out of all the cassettes, he's the one that looks the most like his cartoon counterpart, which makes him the best. And his little camera on his forehead really kicks ass too. The other ones, the G1 does not have that. So I do give a point to this guy. Just hands down, he gets the point for Robot Moon. And now the rest should go a little quicker. Style. For style, I have to give it to... I'm actually going to tie it in between the Soundwaves. Because, you know, he looks really good for a new figure. But he looks really good for his age. I mean, as far as style goes, this guy just... I mean, there's a reason why he's one of the most recognizable Transformers of all time, is because of his style. So, Ravage, I do think the MP Ravage was the weakest of the MP cassettes. So, I'm not going to give either one of them a point. I think they both kind of fall short of the iconic Ravage character. And G1 Laserbeak versus MP Laserbeak, I'm going to have to give it to MP Laserbeak. Accessories. Now, my one gripe on the G1 Soundwave's accessories are the little missiles. But, you know, for the most part, they include extra ones in case you lose them. So, I don't want to fault him for that. And then his shoulder cannon and his gun actually transform into batteries, and they fit into his backpack. That right there makes me give him a point for accessories. Now the Fall of Cybertron Soundwave, he comes with the shoulder cannon, which doesn't have any place to really store. The War for Cybertron Soundwave did have a place to store his cannons, which was really nice, but he just doesn't have that. So yeah, he just doesn't have that, and just having that shoulder cannon sit on the top really kind of detracts from the character. Now, that being said, you know, it's forgivable. But what's not forgivable is the fact that you see he doesn't come with a gun. I always have to give him someone else's gun. And of all characters, Soundwave should have a rifle. I mean, this is just ridiculous that he doesn't have one. And then one of his other accessories, which I don't have anymore because I threw it away, was a data disc laser beak, which was the strongest of the data discs, but at the same time, it's still a data disc. So for that alone, I will not give him a point for accessories. Just no. No. G1 Ravage. His accessories are these giant missile pods that in tape mode they just have to sit there. Whereas again, he integrates it into his transformation. So I give the accessories to him, even though he doesn't have any, because he integrates his accessories into his beast mode and alt mode. And the same thing goes with the laser beaks. Scale. We got our. I'll put him over here. We got our Seeker mold. So neither one of these guys work for a classics collection that's utilizing the Seekers. For that, you'd really want to get smaller scaled figures, And for that, you'd want Music Label Soundwave. Or War for Cybertron Soundwave. No question about it. That's what you'd want to get. Neither one of these would really truly fit with this Classics. Next, we'll get the iGear Seeker mold. And as you can see, he is to the head the same size as the Fall Cybertron Soundwave, and the G1 Soundwave is pretty close, coming about half a head shorter. So as far as that goes, I think, and the same goes with the cassettes. Everything I say for these guys is the same for the cassettes, although the cassettes are actually bigger with the G1 than they are MPs. So the MPs would actually fit for a smaller scale, I think. Anyway, so I'm going to have to give the point to Fall Cybertron for scale. Just because of he's to the head the same size as the iGear Seeker. So if you're going for the bigger Classics style collection, he's a little bit bigger, so he does fit in that scale just a little bit better. And then here is the Hegemon, which is the same size as the Henkei Megatron. And as you can see, again, to the head, he's the same size as Fall Cybertron. So again, he does fit in very well. But the G1 Soundwave does kind of fit pretty well with him too, because he should be a little bit shorter, but not too much. So yeah, I do say Fall Cybertron does win that round. Just because he's just that little bit taller, so if you're going for the little bit bigger scale, he works better for that. And then Ravage, I honestly, because like I said, these things are bigger, so I would imagine that they would fit better with Masterpiece collections. I mean, you can see how much bigger he is. So for Classics collection, like I have, I'm going to give the point of scale for the MPs, because they're a little bit smaller, and I think that makes them a little bit better for Classics, which is funny because they're actually MP cassettes. I still say that the MP cassette should be bigger somehow, because I think these things are too small for that MP Soundwave. Just because, I mean, you can see how these guys are bigger than the MPs, but they go with the G1 Soundwave, which everything, is based off is the G1. So, and the MP Soundwave it would be, I think up to about here, in comparison. So, anyway, almost done. The last rating that I got is for G1. And, I mean, obviously G1 Soundwave is going to win the G1 look. Fall Cybertron falls short of that. And then as far as the cassettes go, again, the MPs look more G1 than the G1 figures. But that's typical of the MPs. Yeah, I'm doing this on request. Yes, that did just happen. Oh, that's hilarious. The board slid through a slot in the table that I don't really even have. And I'm gonna have to move everything, try and get it back, which is just hilarious. Sorry about that, guys. I get kind of a kick out of it, but and everything's all scratched up now. And then, so yeah, the MPs win the G1. So we got, I'm going to try and go back over and remark everything here. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, so what we got total in the comparison. In between, let's start with the laserbeaks. In between laserbeak and G1 laserbeak. G1 laserbeak gets 2 points, and MP laserbeak 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 points. So he's actually got a perfect score for the 8 categories that we were going with. And so yeah, if you're looking for the best laserbeak, MP laserbeak. He's still decent, but this guy just owns it. For ravage, the G1 ravage got 2 points for alt mode and transformation. MP ravage got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points. So not nearly as perfect, but still pretty much trumps G1. But again, we're going to talk about masterpiece figures. But I think the real thing that everyone wants to know is G1 Soundwave versus Fall Cybertron Soundwave. And G1 got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points, and Fall Cybertron got 1, 2, 3, 4 points. So they were very, very close. Very close to one another. But I think I think if you're going for the larger scale, either one of these would kind of work. But honestly, he still looks really cool. So I might have to just and he wins at the points, in my opinion, anyway. So there you go. G1 Soundwave is still superior than Fall of Cybertron Soundwave.